Opening up for us, we take it international once more, as superstar in the making Trevor Noah graces our screens. We were lucky enough to get face to face with one of the continent's biggest comedians at swanky London hangout Floridita during his latest stopover in London. And after being the first ever South African comedian to appear on both the Jay Leno and David Letterman shows stateside, it may not be long before this guy becomes an international household name.
There's many assumptions I had about America before I came here, and I've come to learn that those were wrong. For one, I just assumed people spoke English here. It's far from it. It's not, you know what, it's not so much the language, so much as the pronunciation of words that throws me off. It's just what Americans have done with the language. You guys have just, wow, you've done something. You've put 22s on the English language. You've got rims that just pimp my language. That's what you've gone with, you know?
I always say I don't think I chose comedy. Comedy chose me. I didn't even know comedy existed as a profession growing up. I always wanted to be a traffic cop as a kid. I thought it was a fantastic job. You had bright lights and you got to shout on a speaker. So maybe in a way that was me wanting to be a comedian without knowing it. It just fell into place. I was in a bar one night and with friends, and there were comedians doing like a little open mic night, and my cousin said I should go on. And I did it. I've never looked back. And I guess I'm lucky because I'm surrounded by people that are really monoliths in the thing. You know, I can't say I'm big. There's Eddie Izzard. So if I'm having dinner with him and he tells me, "Oh yeah, what was your last gig?" I go, "Oh, it was crazy. I had 1,000 people there last night." And he says, "Yes, I know the feeling. I had 25,000 people last night at my gig." Then you see, so I don't think big is the way I look at it. I'm lucky enough to have people coming to the shows and enjoying something with me, and that's all I can ask for. You know, I always say I just need 12 people at a show. 12 people. Jesus made it with 12, and so that's all I need.
I was chatting to this woman downtown the other day. She came up to me and she wanted me to see something. I don't know what though. She was like, "Oh my God, look over there." I said, "Look over what?" She's like, "Over there. Look at that her." And I said, "Her?" She's like, "No, her. Like, there's two of them?"
I've always loved comedy in the UK. I've always loved the style of comedy out here, just the audiences, the intelligence, and so it's always been a dream of mine to do shows out here. I've seen comedy all over the world, and for me, the UK is the one place where I've always gone, wow, how are these guys doing it? How, you know, who are these people? You see the most amazing acts out here. You know, when I was in Edinburgh, I saw things that my mind couldn't comprehend. So this is really for me the bigger place. You know, lots of people strive to break America or to be, and that's never been my dream. I just like doing comedy in the world.
"Here's your taco, friend." I said, "Thank you." He's like, "Yeah, you want a napkin?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "You want a napkin?" And now on our side of the world, a napkin is that thing babies wear to hold their So he was trying to say serviette, which is what everyone in the world says except America, serviette. So he goes, "You want a napkin?" I said, "Why the hell would I want a napkin?" He says, "Hey man, for the mess afterwards." I said, "For the mess? Is it that instant that I'm going to need a napkin?" He says, "Yo, you never know with tacos, man. 1 minute you think you got it, then it's coming out."
I was lucky enough. I did Leno on The Tonight Show, and then recently I did Letterman on The Late Show. So I'm lucky enough to do both sides. Not many comedians have had the pleasure of doing both, and it's a fun experience. It's very different because, you know, your material you have to tailor for that audience. It's 4 minutes and 45 seconds of a very strict regimen of jokes. So you can't go as crazy as you want to. You're trying to work within the confines of something specific. But it's great. It's a fun thing to do. I've had multiple shows in South Africa. I did four single shows, so 4 one-man shows before I started writing a show for the world. And that's because in South Africa we have a lot of our own jokes. You know, I guess you do everywhere in the world. The only difference is with South African jokes, it's harder to make them travel. The smaller the country you come from, the harder it is to make people relate to that worldwide. So I always wanted a show where South Africans, Africans, and then everybody else could come to the show and have a good time. That's why I wrote The Racist, and that's, I guess it's an introductory story. It really is the beginning of me. It introduces you to me and my world, and hopefully the start of a new relationship for myself and the audience. I'm getting ready to start my first UK tour. I had the pleasure of doing Edinburgh, London for 6 weeks, and now going into the UK as a whole. So that's really going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. I start that in November, and the dates will be up on trevornoah.com. And obviously, the one I'm really looking forward to is going to be the Hammersmith Apollo, where I'll be doing the show. So I hope more than 12 people come to that one. That's going to be on the 7th of December, and that's just a dream come true. That's going to be one of those moments where afterwards, if everything doesn't work out in life and then I end up in the street, I'll be shouting out at the top of my lungs, "I was at the Hammersmith Apollo! I was at the Hammersmith! A penny, please, give me a penny. I was at the Hammersmith Apollo." That'll be the one. So I hope people will be there to share that moment with me. And then hopefully in the future more things to come, but for now that's the main thing.
I couldn't get help the other day when searching for a battery for my remote control, because that's what I say, battery, a small form of power. So in America you say battery, which to me is a different form of power. Sponsored by Chris Brown.